What up, everybody? Just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who's supported Lockdown Universe for the past 3 years. I really appreciate you. And if you've been thinking about a way to support, but you didn't have $1.99 to support for each month, that is okay. If you want to just buy me a coffee, there's an option for you to just buy me a coffee inside the description of each episode moving forward. So just highlight that, put it in your browser. You can go right there and buy me a coffee or 2 or 3. I like coffee. Who doesn't? And I would really appreciate it. And it would keep me awake enough to make more podcasts for you guys. So I would appreciate that. And just wanted to let you know. Thanks for that. And thanks for supporting the podcast. Let's get to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, some of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. Today we're going to talk about the U.S. Energy Department getting ransom hacked by Russian hackers and why they might be interested in the U.S. Department of Energy. So this article comes to us from Reuters.com. And it was published on June 16th, so not too long ago. It states that the U.S. Department of Energy got ransom requests from Russia-linked extortion group CIOP or CLOP at both its nuclear waste facility and scientific education facility that were recently hit in a global hacking campaign, a spokesperson said on Friday. Now, two big red flags show up for me right off the bat. One, we know that the U.S. Department of Energy takes care of the nuclear warheads and nuclear energy as well. There's an Atomic Energy Commission as well that's part of the atomic warheads, but really the Energy Department really is supposed to be focused on energy. Why would Russian hackers be interested in that? Well, the U.S. Department of Energy shows up at every alien crash site. They have access to high levels of alien ships, of possibly of how we disperse our energy as well. So there's two things that could really be going on at play here. One, Russia could be really trying to figure out our energy systems and how to knock them out. Or two, they could be trying to figure out more information on America's UFO capabilities and our technology obtained from UFO crashes. So let's keep going on further and find out a little bit more. So it states that the D.O.E. contractor Oak Ridge Associated Universities and the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant, which are the New Mexico-based facility for the disposal of defense-related radioactive nuclear waste, were hit in the attack, which was first reported on Thursday. Let me ask you a question, guys. Seriously. Why would the government ever tell us that they've been hacked? Why would they tell you that? Why would they tell you that anyone was even successful? Why would they put that out into the universe and so that people can publish it and then talk about it, right? I mean, let's face it. If you were a Defense Department agency PR person, let's just say, what good does that do you? Telling people that you were hacked? No good. It makes you look inept. It makes you look like you can't do your job. It makes you look like you can't keep the country safe, and it threatens national security because it makes people worried. So they got to be releasing this information for a purpose. I got to believe that. I can't believe that they would say, oh, you know what? Hey, guys, we got hacked, but, it's okay. No big deal. We'll figure it out. You're still safe. Yeah, we got hacked big time. And they might know some of our secrets. Okay, so either A, they want us to know this so that it's a key opening for us to get behind them in case they have to go to war with Russia, or what other reason? In case some information gets out and they need to prosecute somebody and they have the right to go and do that. That's all I can really think of. But let's keep going in the article here. The data was compromised at two Department of Energy entities after hackers breached their systems through a security flaw in the file transfer tool MoveIt transfer. So this tool, it allows for file transfers. So this software was hacked, not necessarily the DOE's internal systems, but this MoveIt file transfer tool was hacked. So that's what's interesting here, is that hackers can hack these third-party software companies that get used, and then they can have access to all kinds of information, even if it's encrypted. They can de-encrypt it. The software is widely used by organizations around the world to share sensitive data. The U.S. government department, or from U.S. government departments to the United Kingdom's telecom regulator and energy giant Shell's company, a range of victims have emerged since Burlington, Massachusetts-based Progress Software found the security flaw in its MoveIt transfer product last month. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because MoveIt was actually the one that found it, not the Department of Energy, not not any other bureaus, not any other companies, but the MoveIt company, Progress Software, found the security flaw in its product last month. There's a huge ranging impact, and it shows how even the most security-minded federal agencies are struggling to defend against ransomware attacks. Ransomware gangs typically scour for such widely used tools. So again, right, this article is reiterating what I believed, is that they're hacking third-party companies' software that the defense contractors are using and gaining access. Now, this is really interesting because it's different than Gary McKinnon, who hacked NASA's direct, Building 19. So he knew that that's where he should hack. And so he started just plugging in, trying to find any open password terminals. And that's what he did. I mean, that's how lax the security was back in, 2001 when he hacked it. Again, the internet was still kind of new. Maybe they thought they weren't hacked. Maybe they couldn't be hacked, or nobody knew where they could be located. I don't know. But the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which is acronymed as CISA, said Thursday that several federal agencies had been hit by the MoveIt breach. It did not say which ones, but added that there had not been much impact to the federal civilian executive branch. I don't know what that means. Federal civilian executive branch. So the analysts say that more victims are likely to emerge in the coming weeks. I don't know if they're, if the CISA was trying to come out and say, hey, we got hacked. You guys should check yourself too for this MoveIt software. Maybe that's what they were trying to do, trying to get people to know. But you know what, in all honesty, you put out a nationwide defense intelligence agency memo, right, against all the Department of Defense contractors saying, hey, if you're using this MoveIt tool, cut it off completely. We're going to use a different tool, right? That's what you would do. You do it internally. You're not going to go out to the press and be like, hey, guys, guess what? We suck at our job because we, don't know who the hell to pick for our security. They're not going to do, it doesn't make sense to me. You don't give away anything when you're in the line of defense job, employment services. You just don't do it. You don't give away any information, right? It's like the cops, right? If they're interviewing somebody, they're not going to tip their hat and say, hey, we have this, we have that. Maybe they might do that to try to pull out some information, and maybe that's what these guys are doing. Maybe they're saying, hey, we got hacked, but they didn't really get hacked. It's just really weird. It's just really weird. I mean, you got to admit, why the hell would you ever say your information was compromised? The Department of Energy, which manages the U.S. nuclear weapons and nuclear waste sites related to the military, notified Congress of the breach and is participating in investigations with law enforcement and with the CISA. Now, this Russian gang, the CLOP, Did not respond to a request for comment, but in a post on its website, it said we don't have any government data. We don't have any government data, which is interesting, and suggested that should the hackers inadvertently have picked up such data in their mass theft, we still do the polite thing and delete all. Really? Okay. So there's an analyst, Alan Liska, said that CLOP was likely making a big deal of how it purportedly deleted government data in an attempt to protect themselves from retaliation from Washington and other governments. That makes sense. That makes sense to some degree. To me, there's a lot of red flags in this story. One, Jesus, these guys could hack right on into our nuclear sites and our nuclear waste sites, not to mention any information that the government might have on UFOs or ETs or a special tech that we want to keep out of the hands of the Russians and and China and any of our other enemies. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. It's a humongous deal. If the Department of Energy got hacked, if any of these other agencies that have anything to do with nuclear arms or ETs or weapons, period, got hacked, that's a big goddamn problem, guys. It's big, big, big problem. It's big news. So it's something to keep an eye on as we move forward with the wars over in Russia and the Ukraine, and they might use this as impetus to initiate some sort of warfare. Or it could be, that they use this to initiate the Blue Book, or the Project Bluebeam. I'm sorry, not Project Blue Book, Project Bluebeam, where, they say, hey, we got hacked, they stole our information, we have to fight, now we have this Project Bluebeam where, if you are aware of what Project Bluebeam is, where apparently the government will broadcast in the skies that the aliens are coming to blast us and shooting at us, when in all actuality it's a hologram. They can use propaganda that they've already put out there weeks before, months before, years before, to say, hey, look at this, look what happened here, look what happened here, and lie to you and say, hey, this is all the information that we've had, this was published, this was public news, you guys knew about this, and now this is exactly why this is happening, this is exactly why we have to fight against this fake invasion, right? So a lot of question marks here, a lot of question marks, and if this was true, and if it was Russia, then, why haven't they appealed to Putin? Why haven't they appealed to Russia's KGB? Why haven't they asked their intelligence agencies to go after these guys? Why haven't they asked for a block? Why haven't they asked for communication, engagement? There's just a lot of questions. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting story. I'm going to pull up something, a little bit more in depth, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. When it comes to mass media, when it comes to these bizarre, hey, guess what, guys, we got hacked, stories, you have to really ask yourself the question, why? Why are they really giving this to us? Why would they tell us this? There's not really any advantage for them to do it. Okay? It's like the Navy SEALs, saying, hey, guess what, guys, our whole battalion of Navy SEALs got shot and killed. That's not going to help any security in the country. That's not going to help anything other than to promote and push Congress to act, to push more military towards something that happened, in that neck of the woods or something like that. It's almost as if it's propaganda to push for legislators to go to war with Russia or with anyone who has hacked them. Even if the hacking group isn't a part of the government, they can easily blame this hacking group as being part of the Russian government. Or they could say that they're part of the KGB, and Russia could say that they're not. We could say they lie. There's a lot of BS when it comes to mass, publications of these things. I'm going to end it there. It's ridiculous, but I just don't think everything is as easy as it looks. I don't think that everything is as clear as it looks. I don't think that everything is as it meets the eye, right? More than meets the eye. The Transformers, right? There's more than meets the eye here. I think, in my opinion. Just gonna say that. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, mentally, spiritually, physically. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, following through on your hobbies and goals and your dreams. Take care of your family this weekend. Take care of yourselves this weekend. Do something for yourselves. Do something nice. You know, sometimes we forget to treat ourselves. Take care of that. Take care of your motivations. Take care of your desires. Maybe refocus up on your goals and work towards those, you know. And when you go out and you go get your exercise, you go out for a walk, put on Lockdown Universe. Listen to all the old podcasts. Love to hear what you have to say. Anyway, guys, I hope you're taking care of yourselves again. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, take care. Lockdown Universe out.